Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The lecture will begin soon. Please turn your mobile devices to the silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the lecture, Silk Road, Myths and Reality, under the Belt and Road Public Lecture and Concert Series. I'm Samantha Choi, Year 5 student majoring English and Education.
And I'm Zholdanova Madir, Year 2 international student from Kazakhstan, studying the Bachelor of Business Administration.
This lecture is the second last event of the Hong Kong Baptist University's Belt and Road Public Lecture and Concert Series, which consists of 5 events from the 12th of October to 26th of October 2017. Sponsored by the Hong Kong SAR Government Funding Scheme for a theme-based public lecture and the Hong Hin Shiu Charitable Foundation, the university has invited distinguished speakers from the United States and Kazakhstan to speak on the development of the Belt and Road Initiative. The series aims to enhance the understanding of the development of the Belt and Road Initiative, as well as the promotion of collaboration and exchange between the Belt and Road countries and Hong Kong. Medea, we've been talking about the Belt and Road Initiative. Do you know what is it?
Yes, of course. The Belt and Road Initiative refers to the Silk Road Economic Belt and 21st Century Maritime Silk Road, a development strategy launched by the Chinese government. The Belt and Road routes cover more than 60 countries and regions from Asia to Europe. And my home country, Kazakhstan, is one of the Belt and Road countries.
With this connection, the Belt and Road Initiative does not just aim at developing the economy of the Belt and Road countries, but also promoting policy coordination, facilities connectivity, unimpeded trades, financial integration, and people-to-people bond.
As a Kazakh, I feel that Kazakhstan has a lot to benefit from and contribute to the Belt and Road Initiative. These include trade, as well as an increased intermingling of cultures, which I feel that Kazakhstan, as a multicultural society, owes much of its success to.
But how does all these relate to our talk today?
Well, today's lecture is called Silk Road, Myth and Reality. Indeed, the purpose of Silk Road is not only focused on a trade route, but also spread of religious ideas and spiritual values, as well as cultural exchange among countries. With a better link between China and the Mediterranean, the Silk Road resulted in the interaction of nomadic, Islamic, and Chinese civilizations.
We are very honored to have Professor Klara KHAFIZOVA, a Kazakh academician, to share her insights on the revitalizations of the Silk Road from various perspectives. As Professor KHAFIZOVA specializes in the study of Central Asia, she is undoubtedly the perfect speaker to talk about the myths and reality of the Silk Road.
Before Professor Hafizova's sharing begins, may I now invite all guests, students, staff, and friends to take a photo together. Please remain seated. Photographer, please. Okay.
Okay, so 1, 2, sorry. Sorry. Oh, wow. Okay. So thank you. May I now invite Dr. Abba Chow, Vice President for Teaching and Learning, to deliver his welcome remarks for us, please. Dr. Chow, please.
Good afternoon, Professor KHAFIZOVA, Dr. Sunamenova. Sorry about my pronunciation, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, friends, students and colleagues, good afternoon again. Welcome to this lecture on Silk Road. Well, first of all, a very warm welcome, particularly to our friends and colleagues from other universities and from outside BU, and particularly Professor KHAFIZOVA and Dr. Sunamenova, flying all the way from Kazakhstan to join us for today and the lecture on Thursday. So we are very, very grateful. Now at BU, we believe that we need to prepare our students for the world of tomorrow, which is a highly globalized world. Our students have to be able to work with peoples from all over the world. That's why they need to understand different cultures, different religions, different historical origins of people's habits, their way of doing things, their culture and everything. And that is why we are very keen to promote our students' international experience, including bringing in students from outside Hong Kong, as well as sending our students to outside Hong Kong for various learning opportunities. This year, we have indeed admitted quite a few students from the Belt and Road countries, okay, including Madiva. We have 10 students from Kazakhstan, and then around 60 from other countries as well. And we are also sending students out to countries like Russia, Poland, and all that. So all these efforts are very, very important part of our internationalization. And as you came in, if you pass by the main thoroughfare of the university, you probably noticed that we are holding our international festival today. And this lecture is also co-listed as one of the events of the international festival. So that is very, very important. And other than student experience, at BU, we're also trying to enhance students' understanding of the Belt and Road, as it is a very important initiative of China, and is going to promote a lot of exchange, as the two MCs have alluded to. And BU is actually a member of a higher education consortium, which consists of more than 130 institutions from Belt and Road countries. From Hong Kong, there are 3 institutions: Baptist University, Chinese University, and the University of Science and Technology. And our colleagues, including myself, okay, attended symposia organized by the consortium. And that is a very, very fruitful exchange. And this Belt Road lecture and concert series is one of our many efforts. 2 weeks ago, we invited Ms. Wu Man, okay, a well-renowned specialist musician in pipa, and she held a lecture as well as a concert. And then last Saturday, we had a session on how to promote Chinese medicine, how to promote exchange on Chinese medicine last Saturday, also in this very room. So today we are very, very happy to have Professor KHAFIZOVA to talk to us on the myths and the reality of Silk Road. So with that understanding, we can further promote exchange on the right track, rather than, well, digressing on the myth side and then do all the things that we don't have to do. So other than that, I have also to thank Professor Capaston and Professor Deng Wai, okay, of our Department of Government and International Studies for hosting this session and connecting us, okay, to Professor KHAFIZOVA. So that is a very, very important link. And we certainly hope that we can further that link after today's talk, and then we will have more exchange, academic exchange, student exchange between HKBU and Kazakhstan. So with that, may I wish everybody a very enjoyable and rewarding afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chow. We would like to invite Professor Jean-Pierre Cabaston, Head of the Department of Government and International Studies, to give us introduction on Professor Klara KHAFIZOVA. Professor Cabaston, please.
Thank you. Well, I'm delighted, and even have to say I'm very moved to welcome today Professor Klara KHAFIZOVA. Klara and I, we met nearly 10 years ago, actually 9 years ago in Almaty, which in the old days was the capital city of Kazakhstan, on the occasion of a conference on China and Central Asian relations. And then we've kept in touch. A year later, Tingwai and I went again to Kazakhstan, and we had a very nice conversation with Klara again. And since then, we've kept in touch. And Professor KHAFIZOVA came to HKBU 2 or 3 years ago on a visit, and we decided that's exactly the person we need to talk about Itai Ilu, One Belt, One Road, and the Silk Road in all its various dimensions. I would like to say a few words of introduction of Professor KHAFIZOVA, who's been a very well-known sinologist in Kazakhstan. Now, I don't know how much you know Kazakhstan, but Professor KHAFIZOVA is from the west of Kazakhstan, which is called Uralsk. Have you heard of the Ural Mountains? The southern part of the Ural Mountains is located in Kazakhstan, and that's the historical or geographical border between Europe and Asia. But Kazakhstan is a very large country. It's one of the 10th largest country in the world. So the distance between Uralsk and Europe is the same as between Uralsk and the Chinese border. So you can imagine the size of the nation. If you've never been to Central Asia, never been to Kazakhstan, you should really go there. A lot to see, and a lot of different things which will be of interest for, in particular if you come from Asia and from China, because there are a lot of connections with China and the Chinese civilization. Now, Professor KHAFIZOVA is currently academician at the Kazakhstan Academy of Sciences. She lives in Almaty, which used to be called Alma-Ata. At the time, Kazakhstan was part of the Soviet Union. Now, as you may know, the capital city of Kazakhstan was moved to the north of the country in a place called Astana. I went to Astana 8 years ago. It was still a small place, but I've heard that more recently it's a very dynamic and vivid metropolis. So a lot of people move from the south to the north of the country. And so it's a very interesting place to visit as well. Now, what is extraordinary is that Professor KHAFIZOVA is interested in many various civilizations who've lived across Central Asia, not only, of course, the Kazakh, and she speaks different languages apart from Russian, Kazakh, and another language called Zunga. The Zunga are Mongols living in the Altai, northern part of Kazakhstan. So you see the connection with Mongolia as well. So and the wealth of the culture. And you may not know that in Kazakhstan you have also a large Uyghur community. The Uyghur is the main ethnic group living in Xinjiang province, in Xinjiang region. And I think there are around 300,000 to 500,000 Uyghur in Kazakhstan. At one time, the Prime Minister of Kazakhstan was Uyghur himself. So it's also another connection to China and the west of China. Now, between 58 and 64, Professor KHAFIZOVA studied in Tashkent, at the Tashkent University, which was the main university of Central Asia at the time of the Soviet Union. There was no border at the time between Tashkent and Kazakhstan. It was the same nation, although two different republics in the Soviet Union. And then she studied later in Beijing, at the time, which was a very sensitive time because it was in the early 60s, and in the early 60s, the relationship between China and the Soviet Union was not very good. Actually, it was pretty frosty, I have to say. And so you stayed there just for a year, less than a year, and then you moved back to Kazakhstan. And later, you studied in Moscow at the University of Moscow, at the Oriental Studies Institute at the Russian Academy of Sciences, where you got your PhD in 1995. So, and then since then, you've taken up various positions mainly in Almaty. I won't read all of them, but I would mention. Well, first of all, I have to mention. You told me that you taught in a secondary school in Samarkand. Have you heard of Samarkand? At one time, it was the capital city of the Tamerlan Empire of Central Asia, and Samarkand is a place where you speak Tajik, but it is located in Uzbekistan. So it's also a very rich place in terms of civilization and culture. And you stay there for a while to teach Chinese language to Uzbek students. Now later you move back to Almaty, and then you studied, you taught in different institutions, including the Academy of Sciences of Kazakhstan, and you've been the head of the Foreign Defense Policy Department of the Kazakh Institute of Strategic International Studies, so an institute which is attached to the presidency of Kazakhstan, and you've also been the director of Strategic and International Studies Center and professor at the International Relations Department of the Hainan University. So you've been involved in various institutions. You've also published a lot. I won't mention all the books you've published. I just mentioned one or two. One is called, in English, the Orient in Foreign Policy Along the Silk Road. In Chinese, it's 丝绸之路上的东方外交. And you've published also a book about the symbol of the Silk Road, which is the Tianma in Chinese, the flying horse, which has been one of the key elements of the Silk Road across the ages and the centuries. So, and you've published also a book of a dialogue among civilizations along the Silk Road. So I'm sure you're the perfect person to address this issue of the Silk Road in all these dimensions, the historical dimension, but also the contemporary dimension with this 一带一路. Now, I know that the translation of 一带一路 is Belt and Road, it's Belt and Road Initiative, and I think with your conference here today, we're going to know much more about the historical background of this Belt and Road Initiative and what we should understand from it. So, without further ado, let's welcome Professor Hafizova. Thank you.
同事们，你们好。我非常的感谢清华大学领导请帖我给你们做讲座。
I'm very happy to accept the invitation of of Hong Kong Baptist University. Thank you for inviting me here, Professor Klara says.
Да. Очень благодарю своих коллег.
I'm very grateful to my colleagues, Professor Kabistan, first of all, and Professor Ting Wai.
Да, мы очень уважаем французское китаеведение.
We are very respectful to Oriental studies in France.
研究，因为法国的那个汉学家研究游牧的有沙万、皮柳、然后瓦和其他的那个专家，其他的学者。
Yeah, there are many French researchers who have been studying nomadic culture and nomadic people.
对。丝绸之路，伟大的丝绸之路。听到这一名词，让人眼前浮现出一条软的和诱人的丝绸，它像一条彩带，将欧亚及宏大复杂的各分支连接了在一起。这幅度经历有骑着货物的商队，骑着马，拉住文件的步行的行进的人们，这叫丝绸之路历史悠久。 它穿过绿色的盆地、河流和山脉，跨过绵延的不断的雪山、酷热的沙漠和寸草不生的戈壁。2000年以来时代口口相传的神话和传说，使这条路镶上了一层神秘的面纱。神话和传说的背后，往往隐藏着事实与真相。人能听到人与大自然的抗争，人与生活及民族之间的战斗的声音，当然也能听到各个民族的音乐。丝绸之路这一主题是经济学、经济地理学、文化学、政治学和军事等的领域的研究资料取之不尽。现在我们看一下3个问题，因为关于丝绸之路写的资料多得很。研究这个题目也不很困难，所以今天我只要提3个问题。这个3个问题包括丝绸之路的 background， 丝绸之路的背景和文化和历史背景。我就这3个问题研究了这个3个问题的，提这3个问题。
Silk Road, Great Silk Road. Imagine soft, shiny, and strong silk as multicolored ribbons covering a complex network of Eurasian roads and their numerous branches, a caravan of camels, laden goods, people riding horses or walking and leading them by the reins. The origin of the roads stretches back to the depth of ages. They used to pass through green valleys, along banks of rivers, and at the foot of the mountains, through impenetrable snow-covered peaks, sultry sands, and barren deserts. The Silk Road was covered with myths and legends that were passed on from people to people for 2 millennia. Behind myths and legends, there is a harsh reality, heard as echoes of human beings' fierce struggle with nature, life circumstances, and with each other. Economic, cultural, political, and military topics regarding the Silk Road are inexhaustible. So I will only discuss 3 aspects of the Silk Road studies. Why does the idea of the revival of the Silk Road, the revival of its spirit, regularly arise in China? And the majority of researchers also see it connected with China.
Да, я сейчас это не сказала. 这不一定我就是今天能回答这些问题。我希望你们大家一起讨论这个问题：为什么复兴丝绸之路、复兴丝绸路的精神的想法会在中国出现？第2个问题，这一思想来源是什么？是什么原因让丝绸之路能勃勃发展？又是什么导致丝绸之路上分支的弱化和根源的消亡？第3个问题，每个人会从自己的国家、自己区的利益出发，依据本民族文明和全人类的成就出发，来评价丝绸之路。怎么样确定哈萨克斯坦过去和今天的丝绸之路上的地位和作用？这些问题。
So, what are the plausible sources of this idea of revival of the Silk Road? What reasons favor the flourishing of the Silk Road? and which ones lead to the withering away of its branches and roots. The second topic is about researchers looking at the Silk Road based on the interests of their countries and regions, at the same time relying on the history of the civilization they belong to and on universal achievements of humanity. What is the place and the role of the Silk Road in Kazakhstan's past and present, and in Central Asia past and present in general?
行，过去每一条路以它的重要的商品而得名。比方说，哈萨克人说马之路，不说丝绸之路。还有那个宝石路、香料路等等。马茶贸易路、茶叶有马匹换茶叫那个换马匹，按照这个的无产革命民族的贸易路子。比方说哈萨克还那个丝绸路叫做尘土路。比方说沿阿尔济斯河，这是在哈萨克斯坦和西伯利亚边界上的一条河。这里的贸易路称为那个尘土路，因为尘土飞扬的道路，由于驱动的牛羊和军事行动升起回程。
In the past, in Eurasia, there were various trade offshoots and paths that formed a complex communication network. These routes were named after the main goods: the horseway, where horses were changed to silk or tea, the way of precious stones, the turquoise path, the jade path, or the Hotan way, the path of spices, etc. Kazakhs called the trade route along their Irtysh River the Dusty Road, as thick dust accumulated in the steppe while trade caravans and troops were moving. And this symbolized the vividness of the Silk Road.
可是有一种 stereotypes， 我们说丝绸之路的时候，我问了我的学生，因为什么我们说丝绸之路？我们这是丝绸是哪里出产的？大家说这是丝绸之路创造在中国，可是在其他国家也创造丝绸，比方说在那个拜占庭、维赞提，在伊朗、叙利亚其他地方，对。
The whole trade route is currently in accordance with a tradition named the Silk Road. But this is a general name, most of all related to silk manufactured in China in vast amounts. Maybe that's the reason why this network was named the Silk Road. But actually, silk is also manufactured in other countries, like in Iran and Byzantine.
古代时间是丝绸之路的全盛时期。古代即中国、中亚游牧民族和伊斯兰对话的成果。中国文明的发展是与亚洲各民族的紧密连接、相连，在中世纪显出让丝绸之路发挥更大作用的强大冬季伊斯兰宗教。
The flourishing of the Silk Road in the Middle Ages was the result of the interaction of the Chinese, nomadic, and Islamic civilizations. the history of the development of Chinese civilization was closely linked with the civilizations of the people of Asia, and in the Middle Ages, a powerful incentive for the functioning of the Silk Road appeared, which was Islam.
那个汉朝和唐朝的丝绸之路大家都知道了，可是要有一点强调蒙古游牧的那个丝绸之路。
So actually, the history of the Silk Road is well known, but it's important to analyze it from the accent to the role of the Mongol Empire in it.
对。成立伟大的蒙古帝国和加强洋带之后，丝绸之路上的贸易复兴起来，有什么原因呢
？And after the Mongol Empire emerged, and the power of the dynasty of Yuan strengthened, the trade on the Silk Road revived.
因为蒙古帝国的一战统治体系是继伊朗阿赫梅尼德王朝之后的世界上用的那个最长、最广、最好的体系。现在是用这个virtual 那个系统，那时候有这个一战系统。那时候最现代化的。
At that time, the postal service of the Mongol Empire became the largest and the best in the world. It replicated and improved the postal service network in Iran under the empire of Achaemenids. Sea routes were also discovered from the southeast to the southwest to the same Indian and Iranian civilizations. So this communication network somehow reminds us the current internet network that we have globally.
Теперь про эти хорошие условия. 蒙古人创造了一个有利的环境，对于商人，特别是对穆斯林商人，会访客。在蒙古的时代，一代的穆斯林也出生于在中国终身访客。沿丝绸之路住了很多民族，这些访客访户都包括了把他们叫做胡，或者也是外国民族的总称，包括中亚、波斯、伊朗、波斯语的突厥、阿拉伯人。
The Mongols created perfect conditions for Silk Road merchants to carry out trade. At this point, a new generation of Muslims occurred in China. They were strangers, such as Arabs, Persians, and Turks, who had moved to China, being attracted by economic blooming in this region. In Chinese, they were named Fanhu, as a general ethnic reference, and also Fanke and Fanshang with a reference to their merchant occupation. And those of them who were born in China were named Zhongshan Fanghu. And these specific ways of their nomination were explained by their diverse appearances, customs, as well as different cultural and religious traditions.
所以中亚商人来到中国，依赖本地的信仰伊斯兰民族维持。Поддержку получали от своих мусульман. Ну ладно, дальше пойдем. Да?
Таблички?
Не совсем. Ничего. А? Бодюи? Да. 可是这个关于火，我们也看到那个，可能大家都知道伯爵伊的那个诗《西凉记》，他描写这个湖的样子，说自胥神木两湖二。
Actually, Muslims existed in China even during late Tang Dynasty. And a Chinese poet, Bo Ji, described their red beards and deep eyes in the poem Circus in Xilian.
蒙古人蒙古帝国做了什么？第一，蒙古人拉近了中国与东欧的距离。
And
Нет, не надо.
Mongols, what was the role of Mongols in the development of the Silk Road? They united inner Asia and got China closer to East Europe.
Это был такой интересный период, когда и Китай, и Россия оказались в системе одного государства.
And that was a
Уникальный случай.
really unique period in the history when both China and Kazakhstan turned out to be within one state. Russia, sorry, not Kazakhstan, Russia. Within one state, which was the Mongol Empire.
对，蒙古帝国团结全内亚。对。那个蒙古帝国以后有那个明朝，明朝的对穆斯林的政策有一点限制，明朝皇帝下令不用西域人做翻译，因为在以后我再谈那个丝绸之路上的各种各样的语言，可是因为这个明朝皇帝下令的是这样，切足公社明少同时无专用私募人，私募人就是外国人，这是明史，可以看明史332卷，不允许撒马尔罕的诗人，比方说在中国卖妇女。Дальше, да? 穆斯林家世界首领和成员有曼拉、叫曼拉、莫拉、阿訇、或者和其他的宗教人物，他们有教育的人家，他们不广东有多买良家女的为妻妾，也是明史332卷。不同文明之间的动画，劝退铁木儿帝国及其中世纪后期及其后代所建立伊斯兰国家之间的对话。Дальше про Тимура продолжать, да? 因为提木儿的帝国也包括土耳其、伊朗、印度、中亚，是一个大的那个帝国，它的首都在撒马尔罕。
The Silk Road embodied the dialogue of diverse civilizations, one of which was the empire of Timur. He created his empire included Iran, India, and the Ottoman Empire. And under his descendants, Timurids, the civilizational dialogue began in the forms of scientific and cultural exchange through the Silk Road. This was the period of Ming Dynasty in China. The Ming Dynasty was maintaining the discriminatory deterrence and restrictions policy against Muslims. The Ming Emperor issued an order prohibiting to utilize translators with colored eyes, which meant Muslim strangers, and banned their buying and marrying Chinese girls. The reason was that among the heads and members of Central Asian embassies and leaders of trade caravans were people named Mullah and Hoja, which referred to their status of educated Muslims, and who had gained power over large sections of the Silk Road under the Timurids. And they used to marry women from high-class families in Guangdong which was recorded actually in the history of Ming Dynasty.
Дальше еще скажу.
And as a result of strict regulation of the Silk Road under the Ming Dynasty, the Silk Road trade relatively weakened in the Chinese territory.
Да. 这里那个学人的题目的那个文化对话是不是文明的？他用战争手段举行他的对话，可是题目的后代是比较文明的，就是именно с этого времени начался диалог цивилизации и цивилизационный диалог.
And Professor KHAFIZOVA wants to draw attention to the fact that Timur, the Emperor Timur himself, used really severe methods to conquer all these countries in Central Asia. But his descendants, they started under their authority, the civilizational dialogue and the dialogue between civilizations began on the Silk Road.
后来1964年出现了清朝帝国，就是中国满清朝中国。в 1644 году.
In 1644, the Manchurian Qing dynasty began to reign in China.
清朝只有征战，清朝只有在征服天山北路和南路，天山南路就是徽部，就是今天的新疆南路。清朝追于中亚、韩国，建立了大使和贸易关系。交易活动的丝绸之路在中亚地区追着恢复，然而引入新的规则 новые правила。清朝允许中亚的浩瀚霍坎、布哈拉、塔什干、吉尔吉斯坦、阿富汗、巴达山、印度贸易在喀什噶尔城市。哈萨克人被禁止贸易在南路城市，不能在那里做贸易。哈萨克游牧民族的可能的贸易仅在中格尔北路，在伊宁、库尔扎、塔尔巴嘎台、塔城，在乌鲁木齐等城市。
In 100 years after conquering the northern and southern Tian Shan Mountains, the Qing dynasty gradually established ambassadorial and trade relations with Central Asian khanates, or small states. The Silk Road trade in Central Asia step by step restored. However, new rules were established. The Qing rulers ordered merchants from Central Asian cities such as Kokand, Bukhara, Tashkent, and regions such as Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan, Badakhshan, and India to trade in the area of China named Kashgaria. And Kazakh people were forbidden to trade in the cities of the southern part of China, Nanlu. And Kazakh nomads could only trade in Jungaria, which is the northern part of China, in the cities of Ining or Kulja, Tarbagatai, which is Tacheng, and Urumqi.
То есть торговля была районизирована.
So the trade was divided between certain ethnic groups by region.
清朝不允许中国商人去国外贸易，根本不能，没有这个权利。
And Chinese merchants were forbidden to leave China and trade outside their country.
这时候，это в тексте нет, ну ладно, я скажу. 这时候有了第一个 穆斯林所有的穆斯林的一个领事馆领事，то есть появился первый малый领事, торговый консул для всех мусульман.
And at that time, the first trade or commercial consul appeared as this position was established in China.
把他称呼Аксакал就是白胡子的，非常那个重视的。
And this role was named after an Asian way to address to older people, white beard.
他一般住在喀什噶尔城市。
And he used to live in the city of Kashgar.
Да. Дальше у нас что? Это религия и это,
Идеология.
Да? Ага. 在丝绸之路上有很多宗教，很多那个世界大的宗教，也有就是宗教的邪派разные секты, то есть нетрадиционные религии. 你们可能都知道，的比方说尼斯蒂安、玛尼教，从古代有佛教，有那个白佛教、Zoroastrianism 最那个老的宗教，有很多道教也有了，道教和白佛宗教有一些很多相同的那个地方。我在这里要谈到两个那个思想。伊斯兰也我不看成现在是宗教，看成像思想一样，因为伊斯兰宗教最政治化的，потому что я сейчас не рассматриваю ислам как религию, а рассматриваю как идеологию, потому что это наиболее политизированная религия.
Most of world and regional religions were represented in the Silk Road, including Buddhism, Taoism, Zoroastrianism, Manichaeism, Nestorianism. So all kinds of sects, smaller religions were present there too. However, the strongest influence on the Silk Road spirit was made by Confucianism and Islam. And when I talk about Islam, I do not talk about the religion itself, but I'm talking about ideology.
Да, потому что Мухаммад, то есть все проповедники, 现在都用话转他们的那个宗教和思想。可是像着Мухаммад оставил посох проповедника и взял в руки меч, построил арабское государство, свое государство, объединил.
As a special point Professor Hafizova makes is about Prophet Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, who didn't use a traditional way to prophesy his religion or to persuade people to believe through word, but he actually started a fight, started a war, and established a new Islamic state. Арабский халифат?
Да, нет. Ну да, свое государство.
So he established his own state.
Объединил все арабские.
And this way, he united all Arabian tribes into one state.
А сейчас будем говорить про... Продолжим или перейду к конфуцианству? Про конфуцианство. 儒教社会分成4个主要类别，这是臣、农民、商人、工，就是分成官员、农民、商人和工匠收益。按照儒教思想，商人是小人。
According to the Confucian ideology, the society divided into 4 main social strata: Chen, Nung, Shang, Gung, or the classes of officials, farmers, traders, and artisans. And the Confucian officials disdain traders because their position, social position, the position of the social class was quite low.
Да. И сейчас я буду говорить, что положение мусульманских купцов было высоко. 但是那个穆斯林的商人地位在社会里比较高。
So although the Chinese merchant class had a low social position, as opposed to it, the Muslim merchants had a very high social power.
的，先知穆罕默德来自库莱什的部落家庭，这个部落从事商业事务，可以说是先知穆罕默德自己也是商人。
The Prophet Muhammad himself came from the family of the tribe named Quraysh, known for their commercial affairs.
对，这个部落一代又一代从事商业事务部落。先知在他年轻亲自领导了商队，肯定知道买卖规则和做法，所以组成了成功的贸易，交易。
So in his youth, the Prophet Muhammad used to personally drive caravans across the Arabian Peninsula, and he knew in practice major rules of successful trade. Therefore, he established a very good trading system.
他住的地方在阿拉伯半岛的农业领域，可是这个农业领域可以造作一种商业性的共和国。这是不是我的名字？这是一位有名的研究《可兰经》的那个专家的看法，我和他同意。
And
And
a Russian researcher Krachkovsky, in his book, wrote that the Prophet Muhammad lived in commercialized Mecca, a kind of trading republic that he established in the agricultural area of Arabia, which is an outstanding achievement.
这样先知穆罕默德住在两个城市，一个在Mecca，一个在Medina，亚斯拉古代的亚斯拉城市。这个地方都是靠贸易挣上的。
And the prosperity of the cities of Mecca and Yasriba or Medina, in which the Prophet Muhammad lived and preached Islam, was largely based on trade.
我在这里提了一些那个附录，如果以后有时间的话，可以看，从《可兰经》他怎么谈那个商业。
And we can also look at Quran's quotes that talk about trade specifically, if we have time during the questions and answer session.
这样我们可以结论说，穆斯林商人对丝绸之路的贡献巨大，他们的作用丝毫不并于短时间持续传行于丝绸之路的中国流行家那个僧侣世界和探险家，但是正是我自己写，我的言不太好，现在请对不起。但是正是后者留下了这些中国流行家间谍都留下了很大量的资料，取之不竭的史料，帮助今天的中国，也是过去的中国历史的中国提出了一带一路的倡议。 да. Ну что, я говорю, что это неутомимый труд мусульман.
So Muslim merchants and traders worked hard, made their activities were very rich and vivid on the Silk Road.
Да. 他们也写了一些回录记录，
So
可是
they made a lot of records because some of them were educated, they knew writing, so they were able to leave records about the Silk Road.
да,
for us.
но только нет никого, кто бы изучал их.
But
Очень мало,
unfortunately,
да.
there are really few researchers who are able to read those records now.
Потому что в Китае положение истории очень высокое.
Because, for instance, in China, the status of history is really high.
Да, да. И 中国人写了26世纪，这是世界上没有这样的这个的26世纪。
And in China, 26 volumes of history were written.
Нет, это династийные.
As a history of Chinese dynasties were
Да,
written.
да, 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 да. 中国人跑不出来他的压力，这个26世纪的。
По-русски
Да. Но китаец не может освободиться от давления вот такой глыбы исторической.
And actually, чтобы интерпретировать, да, эти записи?
Да, 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 да.
And
Нет, не
actually-
мусульман. Вот эти 26 династийных историй.
And
Они-
actually, the Chinese historians their thinking, their way of thinking, and their attitude to historical records are based on these 26 volumes of dynasties.
да.
Yeah, the
Джанья.
pressure. So they kind of feel the pressure of this already created 26 volumes of
Да.
history of Chinese dynasties.
在这里有区别，那个穆斯林人的历史、突厥民族的历史和中国的历史有
And
差
this is
别。
the point where the views of Islamic historians and Chinese historians diverge
да.
and move in
中
different
国历史
directions.
是比较那个более официальные, то есть не более, а вообще официальные.
And the interpretations or the historic the theories of Chinese history have an official nature.
Да, очень это. И судьба историков очень горькая.
And
Первый Китай.
actually, first Chinese historians, their destinies have been quite unfortunate,
Сыма Чэнь, например,
such as
Баньгу,
Sima Qian.
Баньгу的, или все那个后汉书的那个，他们的命非常的辛苦，非常的辛苦。对，可是我们非常的重视这个中国资料，因为在这个资料上有关于，比方说我的祖先，我们的古代民族的那个历史的资料。
But we, as foreign researchers, really value
Да.
all Chinese books and records
Да.
because they reflect the history of our
Наших
people,
предков.
our
Наших предков истории.
our history, which actually almost had no other records.
现在写我们的历史，中亚人民的历史，你不能不用中国资料，你一定要用中国资料。
So, in order to study the history of any people in Central Asia, you have to use Chinese sources.
Невозможно написать историю древности и средневековой без китайских исторических.
And it's impossible to to write about ancient history of any of the nations, any of the people of Central Asia without using Chinese
Однако,
historical sources.
да, а история народов Центральной Азии, она больше культурная, да.
And within the history of Central Asian people reflected by themselves is not recorded, mostly not recorded, but reflected in their folk stories and
神话多得很。
and fairy tales
的
and other pieces of culture.
的，这样伟大的印度文化、伟大的伊朗文化也没有真实的历史，像中国人一样的。
And similarly, even such great nations as India or Iran don't have written records of their ancient history.
的，
And they have to also rely on Chinese sources.
他们都是丝绸之路上的民族嘛。
And they're all the nations on the Silk Road.
的，他们只能写，比方说伊朗，在伊朗菲尔多西写了沙那梅诗诗
And
исторические песни。
there's a poem, an ancient poem of an Iranian poet, Shahnameh, very famous. And historical records actually are contained in this masterpiece.
Или в Индии Махабхарата и Рамаяна.
Or an Indian epic poem,
Махабхарат,
Mahabharat.
Рамаяна,
also-
Рамаяна,
Ramayana. It reflects
Да.
ancient history of
好像
Indian people.
да，好像也是很奇怪的一个，我想我非常的奇怪，他们они придумали вымышленных героев или мифологизировали своих героев, но историческую правду передали.
And that's really amazing that in these literary, folk literary poems, the characters are not real people, but the historic details are reflected very clearly as
Да, 很奇怪，很奇怪。
very clearly as real evidences of ancient events.
对，那我们谈一点欧洲吧。欧洲国家在丝绸之路上，中国的产品进入欧洲，通过东土耳其斯坦和West Turkestan，从中国到欧洲都是唯一的方式，要通过中亚和西亚、伊朗。在中世纪，其他的方式，像欧洲，对中国人不知道了。потом但是欧洲他们是第一次用的是明朝期间，伊朗人从欧洲发明法兰克斯，中国结的花，佛兰吉、佛罗伦萨、佛罗琳娜。因为那个金币，Венеция的佛罗琳的那个金币，波斯人叫法兰吉，ну, в общем, слово флорин, да, тоже передали через слово фаранги. То есть все западные фаранги. Да. Ну, говорите, ладно, как у вас есть. Я сейчас еще только я потом скажу.
So Chinese goods penetrated into Europe through eastern Turkestan. And the only way from China to Europe was through Central and Western Asia, through Iran. In the Middle Ages, the Chinese didn't know any other way to Europe. So they first began to use the word Europe in the Ming period. The Iranians called the Europeans Farang. In the Middle Ages, the Chinese borrowed this word from the Persian language and used the same word turned into Fulin to name the people of the Mediterranean, also the people of the city of Florence, and also they called gold coins francs with the same name, Fulin. And in the history of dynasties, the word Europe is written as Oloba.
Да, олоба, да. 明史有单词这个对，欧罗巴第一次出现这个地名，在明史叫欧罗巴，欧罗巴，欧洲的意思。这个名字，这个вот если Флорин Франк все название Запада пришло из Ирана, то вот уже Европа это уже, конечно, уже говорит об отношениях с Европой.
And as the word Fulin witnesses that Chinese had relations with Iranians, the same way the word Oloba, Europe, witnessed the first contacts of Chinese with Europe.
欧洲用殖民主义的方式手段打开了海上的丝绸之路。可是欧洲带来了新的外交模式，新式外交礼仪，就是现代化的，可以说是，这是欧洲的贡献。欧洲人给了名字大陆的贸易路，就是一个德国的немец дал это имя丝绸之路。可是欧洲也是大量的，这是文明的欧洲大量的通过盾进口鸦片到丝绸之路和中国，这是欧洲人的贡献。Да, про опиум.这个Нет, что это вклад Европы в шелковый путь и Китаю, это когда стали привозить тоннами опиум.
Вы сказали, что немец дал название.
Название, да, немец дал.
If we look at Europe and the Silk Road, as well as the relations between the West and China in the 18th and 19th centuries, we'll see that the control over the Silk Road passed to Europeans. And Europe became a new geographic and geopolitical West. In the 19th century, Europeans discovered China mainly using aggressive methods, but at the same time revived the Silk Road, and a German traveler,
Я забыла немецкий.
Actually gave this name, the Silk Road, to this ancient network, trade network and communications network.
这也是欧洲人的对丝绸之路的很大的贡献。
This was the contribution of Europe to the Silk Road, and it started to be nominated by Europeans. And another contribution to the Silk Road was opium, the main commodity that at that time was exported to Europe from India.
目前中国把丝绸之路沿西直到美国，就是说原来是中国的西方，这是伊朗亚洲的西部。可是以后走啊绕了一圈，到了太平洋，到了美国，从东方也到了美国，这样丝绸之路走了一圈，连接上在太平洋，这个也有意思的。
And with the expansion of the concept of the West to America, the geographical circle of the Silk Road was closed. Since the civilizational aspect of America for China is also the West. It's the concept of the West. But geographically, America for China is the East.
Да.
So this circle of the Silk Road global Silk Road was locked. And the global nature of the Silk Road today is now complete. It covers lands, seas, oceans, and finally the open space.
今天的丝绸之路是充分的полностью стало. 它涵盖土地、海空、太阳、有天空、空间都连接了在一起。То есть объединено, сказала, да? 所以那个欧洲和美国带来了这些问题，人权问题，还有那个民主主义，可是他们带来的方式也是不文明的，不应该民主主义和人权允许单刀带来，нельзя внесли хороший вопрос о правах человека, о демократии, но способ варварский, которым они принесли эти понятия в Азию, нельзя привозить эти понятия на крылатых ракетах.
So now we turn to the problems of the Silk Road, among which which includes religious radicalism and the matters of democracy and human rights. And democracy and human rights are very important in the modern world, but as Professor Hafizova stresses, they have been, the human rights matters were brought to inner Asia using cruise missiles. And this is a wrong way to bring democracy and to initiate a dialogue about human rights. But this is her personal view.
Да. Сколько времени уже прошло? Хватает. Мы уже к языкам переходим. Раньше времени не хочется. 语言在丝绸之路上，古代的语言。也是 communication 和中式历史的语言，历史时代的语言和今天的语言的丝绸之路上的语言，古代丝绸之路上的有很多语言，比方说最老的可能是苏特字Сохдийское письмо，后来来了。当然有汉语，这2500年一直有汉语，汉语也变化了，当然，还有波斯语言，巴赫列维那个字母用了，后来波斯语言用了阿拉伯文字，还有蒙古文字，还有突厥维吾尔的。字母，比方说，蒙古朝用了维吾尔的字母，письмо，这样语言多得很。回国文也有回国文，可是汉语一直用在丝绸之路上用的。
So among ancient languages used on the Silk Road. Were such rare, maybe we don't know their names now, such as Sogdian language and also the writing system. Some types of Persian language and writing as Pahlavi, and also Arab alphabet used to be used there to make records. And also some types of Turkic systems of writing and Turkic languages were used. But Chinese language has been always the main language of the Silk Road, and most of the records, as we already said, were made in Chinese.
и波斯人、阿拉伯人都学过，突厥人、蒙古人都学过汉语的。
And so at ancient time already, all those people who surrounded the Silk Road used to learn Chinese.
比 比方说色目人就是外国人译成道教《道德经》，译成其他中国的文化遗产。
And and Persian people, ancient Persian people translated Chinese, famous Chinese
произведения, Дао Дэ Цзинь,
philosophical masterpieces such as Dao De Jing, translated from Chinese to Persian.
所以是那个明朝下令那个命令嘛，不要用色目人做翻译。
And for that reason, when the Ming Dynasty tried to control the Silk Road, the emperor issued an order to prohibit utilize the services of Persian merchants as translators on the Silk Road.
目前的关键的语言当然是英语和汉语。
And of course, right now, the key languages on the Silk Road are English and Chinese.
杜兰基和那个原苏联东欧用汉语和俄语，比方说在那个地区组织里用汉语和俄语，其他那个5个中亚国家都会用俄语。俄语在我们中亚还没变成外语了。
And as English and Chinese are used at the international level as the languages of the Silk Road, the regional languages, the languages of the countries of the former Soviet Union and Eastern Europe are Chinese and Russian. And Russian hasn't become a foreign language for Central Asia yet, so all 5 Central Asian republics widely utilize it.
现在目前所谓有的广场学汉语，повсюду，在许多国家的大学，在中亚很多的可以说在所有的大的大学都开始汉语部门，成立了孔子学院。比方说在哈萨克斯坦有4所孔子学院，在西部、北部、中部centre，也在阿拉木图第一个那个孔子学院，不会减少年轻人学习中文。在中国，包括中国的情况，我也很高兴。昨天我在这里和哈萨克留学生见过面，我非常的高兴。在这里好像你们有9个哈萨克学生，可是你们看这里没有一个塔吉克没有，土库曼也没有了，乌兹别克也没有了，因为哈萨克人不是真正的穆斯林，我们的伊斯兰宗教有一点那个自由的啊，这样说吧。Потому что наш ислам немножко другой.
So globally, the Chinese language is spreading to many other countries. And in our region, in Central Asia, it has been studied and trained to students. Students are trained learning it in many universities. Different universities established the Chinese language departments, and the Confucian Institutes are established with those Chinese language departments. A lot of young people, especially from Central Asia, come to China to study Chinese. And what is and also the Chinese government issue grants scholarships to foreign students to study in China, which is also an activity on the Silk Road. And Professor Hafizova is happy to see Kazakh students here today studying at this university. And what she wants to note that we see no Tajik or Turkmen students, but Kazakh students. And this is explained by the fact that the Muslim culture of Kazakhs is a bit different from the Muslim culture of other nations in Central Asia, and it's more relaxed, and people feel free to choose to contact with other cultures different from their Islamic culture.
哈萨克人的伊斯兰宗教有特色。
And there's specifics of Kazakh Islam.
的，我们以前那个拜天上帝тенгрианство, например, было. И у нас было много разных народных воззрений.
And
И их влияние до сих пор очень сильно.
before Islam, Kazakhs actually believed in Tian, sky, or sky. So that was the как
Нет, это тенгрианство.
It's Tengrian. It was the Tengrian religion.
Тенгри это же Тяньшань的意思.
And Tengri means Tianshan Mountains.
Тяньди的意思, да.
So a lot of remnants from that religion are still present in Kazakh philosophy.
所以我们的学生不怕在清华大学读书。
So actually our students are not afraid, are not reserved to come to study to a Baptist university.
对，因为我给同事们在国内说，那个清华大学邀请我讲座，我很高兴。他们有人笑，有人很奇怪，大家都说：“哎呀，这是什么大学啊？”你怎么说？我说：“你们别怕，别怕，我多一点谈伊斯兰宗教，所以。”
And when I mentioned to my colleagues in Kazakhstan that the Hong Kong Baptist University invited me for a talk, they were kind of amused and scared, and they said, "Oh no, why are you going to give a talk at a Baptist university?" And Professor Klara comforted them, saying, "Don't worry, I'm going to talk about Islam there."
因为在我们国内苏联的时候 ，Baptist 的这个非常的辛苦。我也有邻居，他是 Baptist， 他们不敢，到现在不敢说他们是 Baptist。
And
清华。
Professor Hafizova remembers that during the Soviet Union time, those who believed, the Christian believers who named them Baptists, they actually were persecuted heavily. And she used to have a neighbor who was a Baptist, and she was afraid to acknowledge her faith.
Я забыла, мы сначала говорим о сегодняшнем, и потом выводы делаем, или сначала выводы делаю исторические, потом говорим о сегодняшнем. У вас как? Как хочу, да. 这样可以说，丝绸之路这一思想的来源是历史和历史经验和文化交流。中国过去把他知道的国家和地区看一起的，也把他们都连接起来，在一个地名在西域。То есть可是其他民族，比方说伊朗人，他们看成这个领土，каждый регионально смотрит на все. А вот Китай всех их объединил в регион Сию, западный край. Все вот эти регионы объединил в западный край, до Европы. Да.
So, by concluding this talk, Professor Hafizova says that, pays attention that what was the role of China on the Silk Road? Although many, and why did it gain like the name silk based on this Chinese concept of silk? Although, as we have seen, many nations and ethnicities and peoples and regions were involved
country.
in this Silk Road activities and process. They all controlled and took care of their specific sections of the Silk Road. So they had this regional attitude to the Silk Road. But China engaged them, all of them, into this one single process of reviving the Silk Road. And this is the unique role of China on the Silk Road.
这样复兴丝绸之路、复兴丝绸之路的精神的想法，在中国出现是有主观和客观原因的。首先，经济，当然首先是经济因素，因为现在中国的经济发展得很快，中国找稳定的交流。稳定的市场，为了建设那个中国特色的社会主义经济，以及中国想要从近邻和远东国家获得战略贸。过去历史上，中亚给中国提供战略商品，这是马。Потому что то есть, в то время мы имели стратегическое значение, всегда продавали стратегический товар, и сегодня то же самое. Только тогда, теперь поменялся товар. Это нефть, ну сейчас скажу.
Yeah, so Professor Hafizova's speech is so rich that I cannot fully follow. He goes away from the script, gives more ideas, talks about some extra ideas. Sorry if I missed something. So I'll follow my script, okay? So the idea of reviving the Silk Road and its spirit arises in China for objective and subjective reasons. So first of all, it has been triggered by economic factors. The establishment of stable political and economic relations, the search for new language as well as advanced military and industrial technologies, and the development of a stable regional market. And as she has noted, of course, the main economic reason is the fast development, impressive development, economic development of China. This was the reason. And this idea was also promoted by, due to China's desire to obtain strategic goods from neighboring and distant countries. And as on the ancient Silk Road, Central Asian nations provided strategic goods to China, and now the same way as she sees it, they keep providing strategic commodities such as oil, crude oil, to China.
中国生产剩余的商品找新市场，除此之外，寻求政治和军事伙伴，这些原因促进了这一想法的出现。这个丝绸之路、一带一路的。
All these factors actually triggered the revival of the Silk Road and its spirit.
一带一路，我想包括很多意思，也可以说这是建议，也可以说这是倡议，也可以说这是想法，也可以说是策略，也可以说是战略。每一个国家、每一个民族可以有对丝绸之路、对一带一路的这个我怎么说也不知道倡议，有那个自己的看法。
So the conventionality of the concept of the Silk Road and its global nature are reflected in the mega project, the Way and Belt Initiative. And its great importance is attached to national margins of the PRC and neighboring countries. And China, since China has initiated this project, the great importance has been attached to the geopolitical alignment of forces along the northwest and southwest directions. And a vital source of this revitalization of the Silk Road, this project as the revitalization of the Silk Road, is a harmonious combination of idealistic and to some extent utopian ideas with pragmatic ones. Про иллюзии, заканчиваем, да?
Нет, сейчас еще, да. Вы уже говорили о сегодняшнем шелковом пути.
Говорите, я...
Ага. Китай ищет новые технологии тоже, новые, это вы уже сказали. 因为今天的丝绸之路，这边是天然之运输管道、石油管道、快速铁路、光纤和卫星通讯。丝绸之路这一概念和它全球性之战都含合在“一带一路”的战略项目中。如果你不要参加这个丝绸之路的策略的话，战略的话，你可以，если каждое государство может участвовать в проекте «Шелкового пути», но если ты не хочешь, ты хотя бы строй инфраструктуру в своей стране. Это будет способствовать развитию не только вот этой «Ида-Илу», но и твоей страны. Вот это.
So the modern Silk Road means gas pipelines, high-speed railways, fiber, optical, and satellite communications. And this infrastructure is supposed to connect the whole world into one infrastructure network. And linking all communication routes with this name, the Silk Road, which implies China controlling it, it kind of exaggerates the Chinese factor and the responsibility of the Chinese side. However, as Professor Hafizova points, any interested regions and countries can join this project and can at least discuss its prospects and develop their own part of infrastructure within their countries, this way contributing into this project, so they also have their own responsibility.
Теперь, да, 所以就是这个我的意思。我想所有想要参加的地区和国家都可以参加于其中，在这个那个战略中的。
So all the countries and all the nations can contribute both to the spirit and to the infrastructure, to the network of the Silk Road.
的，谢谢，谢谢大家。
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor KHAFIZOVA, for giving us a multidimensional and informative presentation on the Silk Road. I'm sure some of you may want to know more.
And thank you, Dr. Irina Zholomanova, for providing interpretation in English. Professor Hafizova and Dr. Zholomanova, please remain seated on stage. And may I also invite Professor Jean-Pierre Cabeston to join the session as a moderator. Thank you.
Professor Hafizova. That was great. I mean, there's been you've mentioned a lot of things. You discussed a lot of dimension of the Silk Road, and now I'm sure there are questions. I don't know whether we have something like 20 minutes or maybe more. Yes, half an hour for Q&A.
谢谢大家的注意。
So, Are there any questions? Yes. Can you, before asking your question, can I invite you to identify yourself? And then, okay, there's a microphone over there. Okay, all right.
Thank you. I'm a MA student in international journalism in this campus, this university. So, Professor, sorry, you just mentioned that in your personal views that the human rights issue and democracy that the Western countries brought to maybe to China or this Silk Road is bad. So would you say something more, because I'm not so sure about what do you mean that.
Да.
Shall
Да, ой, мигала. Ну, я, конечно, имею в виду, что, ну, например, что сделала с сегодняшними странами, с Ираком, Сирией.
I mean, I want to draw attention to such countries as Iraq and Syria and what has been happening there nowadays.
Или вот эти угрозы Ирану.
Or threats to Iran.
Да, вот эти вот всякие санкции. Все это.
The sanctions that were imposed on Iran.
Да, вот так вот. Все.
This is what I mean, Professor Hafizova says.
Are there any other questions? Yes, go ahead. All right. Have you got a microphone?
Создание евразийского пространства с шелковым путем. Вы знаете ли, каким образом они синхронизируют, собираются это? Знаете ли про такой план? Как это будет?
Синхронизировать что?
Развитие евразийского пространства.
Я хочу сказать, что вот каждая страна на пространстве бывшего Советского Союза имеет свои планы развития. И эти планы развития сопрягаются с этим. И Китай учитывает эти планы. Эти планы сопрягаются с планами вот этого Китая.
So each country of this region of Central Asia and former USSR, they have their own economic and political development plans. And when China has been developing this Belt and Way Initiative plan, it took into account those plans. They all get connected and managed to fit each other.
Да. Ну, можно сказать, вот это наши вот эти интернет-сети тоже глобальные, но это виртуальная сеть. А вот эта сеть, она уже материальная такая сеть, охватывающая.
So the metaphor of the current infrastructural network that China has been creating through the Belt and Road Initiative can be compared to the world internet network. So that's
the
infrastructural network is a material network as opposed to the virtual internet network.
Ну, понимаете, это такая громадная страна, у нее действительно все получается глобальным, что бы он ни задумал. Китай. Про Россию. Ну, Россия, ну а что Россия? Это хорошо, что конкуренция. Да. Конкуренция есть.
There's an element of competition in this program you mentioned to develop the Eurasian community in the former CIS in the CIS countries.
Yeah.
I agree. Kind of competition to this Belt and Road Initiative. but at the same time, it's
Да, да. Конечно,
they-
есть конкуренция между Россией и Китаем в этом регионе. Это
and
хотят
there's a
сказать.
competition in this region between Russia and China. We have to acknowledge that too.
Да, конечно, есть. Потому что, ну, вся
But they
история
also
парадоксальная. Ага. А? Да, они дополняют.
But they also, these programs, they also supplement each other.
Thank you for that. Oh, I see another hand over there.
Я, наверное, не поняла этот вопрос
Yeah,
хорошо.
yes, please. Man in blue, yes.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for your interesting presentation. I would like to ask you about the recent World Expo in Astana and whether you see this as being a part of the process of the Silk Road.
Экспо как часть процесса шелкового пути.
Ну, в этом проекте участвовало 115 стран.
Yeah, 115 countries took part in the expo in Astana.
Да. И многие страны имели свои дни, свои павильоны и свои дни для...
And many countries established their own pavilions, and they also arranged the days of their countries at the expo.
Да. Потому что мы хотим построить новые... Это является... Можно рассматривать как часть шелкового пути? Да, да. Да. Не только они, и все другие страны устраивали, как могли. А я хочу сказать, что все страны участвовали, потому что мы хотим создать, ну, какую энергию там создать? Энергию будущего. Хотим построить энергию будущего, потому что мы не знаем наши природные ресурсы. Наша вся таблица Менделеева – это проклятие Бога или Его благословение.
So not only China, although China actually within the expo it arranged a set of events. Each of Chinese provinces had their own days and weeks of presentations.
Да.
But
But
other countries also participated actively, and the name of the expo was, as you know, the Future Energy. And for Kazakhstan, it's very important because we don't know whether our natural resources such as crude oil
И
and
вся
gas
таблица
and
Менделеева.
all other minerals that represent the whole Mendeleev chart table, whether they are a curse for Kazakhstan or a benefit or a blessing.
或者проклятие, как... да, хорошо. 祝福或者想放的，不只是这个。
Yes, oh, okay. We have a question from a friend from Pakistan here.
Pakistan.
This is Dr. Haq from Pakistan, and I'm representing here the Pakistani Student Association, and I'm the public relations officer and media advisor for this association. Thanks for your thought-provoking, talk today. And I just want to know, with this Belt and Road, your talk, Itai Ilu, do you see the role of Pakistan? How do you see the role of Pakistan? Because all this talk, I haven't heard anything, because the Belt and Road will start right from the China to go to Pakistan, and then the high-speed train, the optic fiber that you mentioned, the open space, and everything will be first go from this, and then we'll connect the rest of the world. So, and how about that you mentioned in your talk, the second part of this question, that during the Ming Dynasty, the emperor was, stopped some of the facilities to the Muslim, the communities or the Muslim merchants. And after this revival of the Belt and Road, would it will happen again, and how you see, or your personal opinion on this? Thank you very much.
То, что вы упоминали, что при Минской династии процветала торговля на шелковом пути с мусульманских купцов. Предполагаете ли вы, что на новом шелковом пути вот такое возрождение может состояться? Первый вопрос там был про
Пакистан. Ну, конечно, мы все знаем, что Индия не очень поддерживает это.
As I well know,
Что Индия не очень поддерживает проект этот.
That India doesn't strongly support this project, Belt and Road
Да.
Initiative.
Однако Пакистан, с Пакистаном у Китая
Pakistan
хорошие отношения.
and China have good relations with Pakistan.
Да. И Пакистан может участвовать в этом. Да. Может очень эффективно
And
участвовать в
actually,
этом.
Pakistan has been and can
Очень
further actively participate in this project.
И есть такие возможности у Пакистана, все возможности. Да, не упомянула это, скажите, моя ошибка.
But this was my mistake, my
Что
fault
вот
that
это
I
слово,
didn't
да.
mention Pakistan
Майтиго
on the
Пакистан.
ancient Silk Road. Sorry for that. Actually, I just didn't mention it doesn't mean that it
Большие
didn't,
возможности у
it
Пакистана
didn't
для строительства.
make a part.
Economic corridor, yes.
Да.
Вот это
CPEC, China Pakistan Economic Corridor.
Да,
Есть
есть.
экономический
Коридор,
Китай,
да,
Пакистан.
Кипекер, да.
уже по новой
Да, вот же, да, вот это.
Yes, so somehow I missed it, sorry.
And the second question about the Ming Dynasty.
Минда.
Вот смотрите, он сказал, что расцвет мусульманской торговли на шелковом пути, вы описывали его
Да.
в Римской
Да,
династии. Возможно ли такое, как вы предполагаете ли вы, что такое возможно в наше время на новом шелковом пути?
Ой, я не знаю, сейчас мусульмане
about
тоже
this-
очень изменились.
The second part, the second question about your second question is hard to answer because the Islam nations has changed a lot by the modern time.
Да. Но если они будут соблюдать все три положения, которые были в Коране, то может быть успех.
But if they follow three
Да, о торговле.
three trading principles described in Quran,
Да.
I think they may revive on the new Silk Road.
О, боже, да, я не гадальщица, я не знаю. Я не... Не надо.
Pardon? What are they? What are they? Do you want to see?
Ой,
They
где
are
же?
in the
Вот здесь,
presentation.
по-моему, здесь есть. У меня нету текста. Да, у меня нет приложения.
Actually, we have them in the presentation, but the screens were collected.
Да, вот Джелити Коранзин. О, здесь очень мелко. Тай камбудела.
Which one?
Камбудела.
Yes, I can see.
你可以看吗？中文的，我看不见了，太小，字太小了。
Who to those who give short weight? This one?
It's a chapter. It's called in English the chapter of the merciful. It's actually Rome numbers. I can't read them. It's
Короче говоря,
LV
надо
6
взвешивать
to
товары.
8. It talks about weighing goods.
包括要称量的，对，整理。
So one of the main
Competence.
principles of trade is to weigh goods honestly. So
Да, вы прочите на
he raised
английском.
them and set
Oh,
the
competence.
balance. That you shouldn't be outrageous in the balance, but weigh all right and stint not the balance. That's
Yes, exactly.
that's one. That's the first principle. Then Кlarstana, второе приложение тоже про это, да?
Нет, это Конфуций, это другое.
Нет, Коран.
Да, Коран, да. Скажите, разработаны специальные правила
So,
торговли
да,
мусульман?
я сказала уже. ага.
It's all about
Vow to those who give short weight, who when they measure against others take full measure, but when they measure to them or weigh to them, diminish. This is the next principle. This another principle,
Еша.
and also and give full measure when you measure out and weigh with right balance. That is better and a fairer determination.
Есть один хадис. Коланзинг, та дохва, Дюша, та дохва.
Can I, with your due permission, explain this just because this is very important and very, critical. What the Allah says, what the God says in the Quran, that is word of God, that is called Quran. And what the Muhammad said, the messenger, his messenger Muhammad said is not Quran. Is the word of Muhammad is called Hadith. Is the saying of the Prophet, but not the Quran. So try to not to mix up. This is very delicate and very critical. The word of God is Quran. And the word from Muhammad, saying of the Prophet Muhammad is called Hadith. So this is very important to identify, put in two different, separate. Thank you.
Thank you for this clarification.
Sorry.
Okay, we have another question. Are you from Kazakhstan yourself? Or? No. Yeah. No. No, you're from Hong Kong. Okay, go ahead. You got a microphone.
My name is Yu Chang. Yu Chang from. I'm now currently a senior editor of a new website called 21st Silk Road, and this website is going to be focusing on the Belt and Road Initiative. And some people look at the Belt and Road as it is China's initiative, but this is a misconception because China started this, but and people thought that maybe that this is China's way of getting its goods selling to other countries, maybe getting the resources from a country like Kazakhstan with a lot rich in crude oil and other resources, natural resources. So I guess my question is, because I understand that Kazakhstan right now is trying to change that mode of economic structure. It's trying to be more than just an exporter of oils and other natural resources, and trying to establish, for example, in Astana, maybe a stock exchange. So we can see that, of course, the Belt and Road is all about connectivity. And I'm sure that Kazakhstan can play a very important role in that because geographically, geopolitically, this is a very important place, straddling actually Asia and Central and Europe. So this is no doubt about the role that Kazakhstan can play. But what are some of the potential roles Kazakhstan can play beyond just an exporter of oil and natural resources? And culturally, how can Kazakhstan play a more positive role in connecting all the different cultures like Russia and China and other Central Asian countries? And because I see that Kazakhstan can do much more than just be a middleman, okay? So perhaps you can elaborate a little bit on that.
Дай Бог. Той цинти, вот пытаюсь шоси, кашева ванчанти.
Мне трудно ответить. It's difficult for me to answer questions related to economics, as I'm not a specialist in it.
我们哈萨克斯坦很好，很少有那个есть радикализма вот. Толерантна наша культура.
So the first important role that Kazakhstan plays on the Silk Road, it hasn't been radicalized at all, although being a country of Islam.
То есть казахи более толерантные,
So Kazakhs are more tolerant,
чем остальные,
по-моему мнению. As I see it, more tolerant than other neighboring countries.
Да. И вот это вот вся это желание Казахстана к добыче новых ресурсов, энергоресурсов и строительство.
Kazakhstan's desire to develop new kinds of resources other than natural resources.
Только если уж я сама думаю о том, что слишком много денег потратили на эту программу. На Expo.
It has been demonstrated by Expo. Although my personal view is that it was way too expensive.
Да, но это, конечно, большая имидж. Да, не просто согласна, если мы, может быть, наверное.
Well, I agree that Kazakhstan may and have to play a role wider than just a middleman between China and other cultures. I believe it's true, but yeah, you cannot develop it further right now.
Can I have a follow-up
我
question?
有这个希望。
It's just my hope. It's also my hope.
And I guess my question is, if Kazakhstan can play maybe other roles, and of course, the question I will be asking is, what are some of the things that can attract us, maybe from Hong Kong, from China, to go to Kazakhstan to study or to learn more about your culture? Because I think this Belt and Road thing is not just one way. Like, on the other hand, we have to be attracted by all these different countries and cultures. So what is it that you can offer us, and that will be. We want to go to your place.
Вкладывать капиталы в развитие Казахстана.
Well,
Thank you.
one of the things that Kazakhstan may offer or invite to do is to make investments. But actually, there's a person who may say more about it. Is the representative of the Kazakh consulate.
Thank
И
you very much,
получить
first
от
of
этого
all.
получить какие-то от этого новые доходы.
Thank you very much, Professor Hafizova, for your fascinating presentation, and thanks a lot to Baptist University for arranging that. And just a small follow-up to your question, and I think that Professor Hafizova's point is that given the strategic and geographical position of Kazakhstan in the mid of Asia and along the Silk Road economic belt, and right in the middle between Europe and Asia, we are already in a very favorable position to play an active role in Belt and Road. And it wasn't surprisingly that President Xi Jinping announced this initiative in Kazakhstan a few years ago, right? 4 years ago already. But I will agree with Professor that the very tolerant nature of Kazakhstan, of our policy, of our foreign policy, is one of the key factors behind our active role in this initiative. And then Kazakhstan has very mixed and even though complicated ethnic structure. We have more than 100 ethnic groups living peacefully in Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan can be also a good sample of, peace and harmony, because Chinese scholars use a lot of this word harmony, explaining the goals of Belt and Road Initiative. So, and maybe my last point, that we really do a lot to promote ourselves in this region. And Expo, it was just one dimension of a very general, a very long-term work that our government is doing in this direction. And the fact that, as Professor mentioned, we have so many students studying here in Hong Kong is also symbolized that we are eager to involve in this project. And so Belt and Road for Kazakhstan is not just building roads and exporting oil and gas, believe me. It's another opportunity for our country to get rid of this dependence on oil and gas and commodities. And I think with this program we have a very well-connected synergy of our strategic interests of China, Kazakhstan, and Hong Kong's interest as a part of China. And we were lucky, and I'm as a diplomat, as a consul of Kazakhstan for trade and investment here, was lucky to work here in Hong Kong through this period when Central Asia is booming, and there we see very rapidly growing interest from China to our region and from Hong Kong. So very complicated question, but just I want to emphasize that Kazakhstan can play a major role in this initiative, together with other countries like Pakistan, and so you cannot, yeah. So there's the balance, even that was mentioned in Quran and in other very wise masterpieces. The balance of interest is very important. So I think all of our countries need to find this balance in this initiative. Maybe that's my point. I hope I was quite clear.
Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Consul. If I may, thank you very much. If I may, before just taking the next two questions, I would.
Нет, я
you want to say something? Okay, go ahead.
Об интересе Казахстана к Гонконгу говорит уже то, что здесь только два консульства двух стран, России и Казахстана. Уже это говорит.
And specifically about this, about Hong Kong. Only two countries have their representative offices, consulates in Hong Kong. It's Russia and Kazakhstan. And this evidences the great attraction and importance of Hong Kong for Kazakhstan.
所以官员可以对这个问题比较熟悉嘛，他比学者很熟悉。
So the consul, is the person who actually understands best of all this matter.
Okay, before giving the floor to the next two questions, can I add a comment myself? Because I've been to Kazakhstan a few times. And if you've never been to Kazakhstan, you can go there as a touristic destination. You can spend your holiday there, there's a lot to see. You can ski in Kazakhstan, south of Almaty. You can go to the forest, do hiking in the north, near to the Russian border. There are a lot of different sceneries and places to visit. You can visit Turkestan when you're in the largest mosque in Kazakhstan. I mean, a lot of places you can visit, and some magnificent lakes. So, I mean, it's it's a touristic destination. And you've got direct flights from Hong Kong 3 times a week, I think. Or twice, I'm sorry. Okay, on Cathay and Astana, I think. Astana, yes. So, I mean, try and promote Kazakhstan myself. I'm going to get some. Okay, next question. Yes, please, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let me thank Professor again for giving a very interesting talk. I personally find your talk to be historically very broad and very comprehensive in a way. My name is Sikong Eng. I retired from the Senior University of Hong Kong, and I'm now a visiting professor at Renmin University in Beijing. I've been helping the Department of Psychology there to organize the Belt and Road Conference last year. And one thing that emerged very interestingly was that there was very interesting interest in how the rest of the world, particularly in the Central Asia, looking at the Belt and Road Initiative. We invited some delegates, not from Central Asia, but from Philippines, from Singapore, and from Malaysia. And from all these speakers, one picture emerged to me to be very interesting. In these countries, the elite in the government and also in the business sector, they were very favorable towards the Belt and Road Initiative. Some of the people at the university are very critical about the initiative, and for the common people, the general public, they were either ignorant of this or they were very apathetic about the whole project, thinking that they have little interest to be derived from this initiative. And so the question I want to put to you is that what is the situation in your country? How do the elite in the government and business look at the initiative? How do the university people look at it? And how do the general public view the initiative? Thank you very much.
Thank you for the question.
Научные работники, потому что, например, вот в Сингапуре, там,
где-то
в Малайзии, там есть либо люди вообще ничего не знают, либо практически.
Да. Но надо сказать, что наше общество очень сложное.
So, the society in Kazakhstan is quite complex.
Есть поколение, которое помнит дружбу с Китаем.
And we still have a generation who remember strong friendship with China in the history.
Кто-то помнит территориальные требования Китая, Казахстана.
And another generation remembers territorial conflicts with China.
Да. некоторые уважают и восхищаются экономическим развитием Китая.
And some groups of people are fascinated with the economic development of China.
Но есть те, которые, казахи, думают, наша численность маленькая, а земля большая, а китайцев, наоборот, много, вдруг...
And there are groups of people who are really scared with this Chinese initiative because they say, well, China is so big, the population is so big, and Kazakhstan has the vast territory with really small population. So they're afraid of it being conquered, being kind of economically conquered by China.
так это，因为我们的地宽人少，所以中国人多得很。有的时候你想说，哎呀，那么多人。可是我们哈萨克人也有一个成语说，среди тысячи табунов найдется один скакун, то есть один породистый конь.
But Kazakh people have a saying, among 100 horses, there would be one. You always can find a great horse, a very strong, prominent horse.
Поэтому мы надеемся, что таких породистых коней в Китае все-таки будет достаточно, которые гуманно отнесутся и ко всем другим народам. Поэтому.
And as Professor Hafizova states it, she's sure that in China, like metaphorically, there would be among all that large amount of people, there would be great horses or great people who would choose the right attitude, the right strategy towards Kazakhstan.
Thank you very much. I think we have another question over there.
Еще есть?
Yes, please.
Надо было записывать нам, но потом будем записывать.
Thank you. I'm Paul Butt from the Chinese University of Hong Kong, the School of Life Sciences. Well, I've been thinking about trying to go to different countries along the Silk Road to study their culture, their foods, and their natural resources. So I'm asking a very layman question. You mentioned that, if I got it right, that English, Chinese, and Russians are the three prevailing languages used in those countries. So am I safe? Am I okay to travel on my own along those places? Is it very common to use those languages?
С английским языком, да, не будет. Он обязательно найдет людей, которые знают английский. Да. Если это не, да, один из этих языков.
You will definitely find speakers of one of these three languages. That's for sure. It's guaranteed. English, Chinese, or Russian.
You mean the
taxi
driver, for example?
but English, Chinese
Turkish 也会, ну, или один из тюркских языков.
If you speak Turkish, you can pick up Kazakh
Yes,
language.
yes.
Kazakh language belongs to the
So
Turkish
in addition to
family.
that, if one speaks one of Turkic languages, such person can also survive there.
У нас есть только другой небольшой недостаток. Наша туристическая инфраструктура еще не очень.
There's one shortcoming in Kazakhstan, although that our tourist infrastructure is not very developed. It's not. It can be developed. It has a potential to develop further.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, my personal advice will be to pick up a bit of Russian, because that's the lingua franca there, and if you speak a bit of Russian, that helps buying things and going,
Okay, thank you.
places you want to visit. Maybe a last question before we end this very interesting talk. No other questions? Maybe I have a question to you, Klara. Yeah. You've mentioned the new Belt and Road Initiative, but when I went to Kazakhstan before that, before 2013, and there were already a lot of relations between China and Kazakhstan. So my question to you, including the pipelines. I mean, you've got a lot of things, the railways. I mean, everything. I mean, I've seen predates actually the Belt and Road Initiative. So what has changed since then?
Что все эти дороги совершенствуются, то есть то, что было 10 лет назад, уже не соответствует современному уровню развития.
Well, within the last 10 years, all those infrastructural projects, as you are mentioning, they have developed further and improved, highly improved, have been highly improved compared to what we saw before this initiative. So there's
Да, больше инвестиций, в том числе китайских. То есть совершенствуется все это.
And there are more opportunities to develop these infrastructure networks further.
Допустим, 10 лет назад были одни автобусы, сейчас более совершенные. Вагоны были одни, сейчас более совершенные.
Yeah, we have got new buses, new trains compared to what we used to have.
Все меняется, все совершенствуется.
So yeah, everything has been developed.
Thank you. Well, I think that on this positive note, we can conclude this session. I would like to invite you to thank a lot of presenter, Professor Klara KHAFIZOVA, and to come again on Thursday. She's going to give another talk on China and Iran and on the Silk Road. So if you're in HKBU on Thursday, please, you're welcome to attend Professor KHAFIZOVA's second lecture in our university.
我也感谢你们耐心地听了我的不标准汉语。
And I'm really thankful to all of you for listening patiently to my non-perfect Chinese.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's lecture has now come to an end. We would like to thank Professor KHAFIZOVA again for coming to HKBU and sharing with us her valuable insights on the Silk Road. I would also like to thank Dr. Zhilamenova for the translation, which is most helpful. Let's give both of them another round of applause.
And as Professor Cabeston noted, Professor KHAFIZOVA will deliver the second lecture called China and Iran on the Silk Road on this Thursday, the 26th of October. And please join us for this second lecture to know more about Sino-Iranian relations in the 21st century. For detailed schedule, please refer to the poster. And finally, thank you all again for joining us. Goodbye.
Да, с нас снимут это.
Я这个你不需要吗？
Да,不需要。